When I tell people that I am agnostic, some confess having difficulty understanding agnosticism, which, according to William Rowe, reflects on the fact that human reason is incapable of providing sufficient rational grounds to justify either if they believe that God exists or they believe that God doesn't exist. And considering one of the greatest, if not the greatest mystery in science is inception of life, but is also one of the biggest miracles attributed to God. So the question is, if our limited human reasoning can allow us to elucidate if we came to this existence by miracle or by mere accident. Scientists have been able to theoretically trace back the universe's origin 13.7 billion years until this so-called Big Bang, and accurately explain how the influence of fundamental forces shape cumulus of gas into stars, acting as giant ovens to cook heavier elements and release them from after exploding, allowing the formation of planets like ours, that after a time of hectic development produce a primordial soup of inanimate components which by a whim became animated. Fast forward a few billion years and here we are, wondering what gave life to the lifeless. We can disregard the story I just recounted and focus on the here and now, to argue that despite the advancement of technology, humankind can bind the elements needed to form molecules and even complex proteins. But despite having all the building blocks of life at our disposal, we can't blow the breath of life and turn them into self-governing self that could eventually evolve into a complex being. At this point, no law in the realms of physics, chemistry, or biology can explain the reasoning behind the spark of life. And that's why, as we go deeper into the study of the universe and the forces governing reality, both at a micro and macro level, it's sometimes easier to believe that an external force, a deity, was responsible for everything, including the miracle of life. In the 1979 novel The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, from author Douglas Adams, a supercomputer called Deep Thought have been built to give answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything, which after eons of calculations, the answer given was simply the number 42. An intriguing response, considering that in ASCII code, number 42 equates the asterisk, which translates to anything or everything. Having this ambiguous response, it makes the creators ponder if the formulation of the question was indeed correct. In the novel, it is revealed that the Earth is a giant supercomputer which was built to determine what the question actually is. But unfortunately, Earth is destroyed by an alien race before completing its computation. Earth, a planet-sized supercomputer with 8 billion transistors, computing the ultimate question of life. Unfortunately, I don't own a planet-sized supercomputer, so sorry to disappoint you, but I don't have the answer of the origin of life. But before you abandon this video, I believe what is important to us is how the two beliefs can positively or negatively impact humanity. If we acknowledge that we are not an accident caused by the disembodied forces in the universe, the conception of a conscious superior being predisposes humankind to have a reason or purpose for existence extrinsic to us. This means the inability to find the meaning of existence within us, but rather try to guess God's hidden motives, forcing humanity to create dogmas and beliefs to appease humans' unwavering anchoring. When we surrender our existence and destiny to a deity, it certainly helps providing peace of mind by relinquishing our agency to divine power. But unfortunately, this creates a series of challenges unique to this line of thinking. Besides the well-known dilemmas about good and evil duality, there are a couple very relevant in today's world that I would like to focus on this video. First is entitlement. If we attribute human creation to a deity, and like most of religions, we assume humanity is the pinnacle of creation, this confers a negative sense of entitlement on the believers. What do I mean by that? By subjugating the entirety of the creation and their humanity, we put ourselves on a place of privilege, what causes humans to act with a sense of ownership. Have you ever wondered on which basis climate change is mostly disregarded? The conquer for land, the indiscriminate exploitation of natural resources, the slavery of our kind, the predation of ecosystem and species, and if technology allows it in a not distant future, the depredation of the cosmos as well. All these results of humans' entitlement in action, in the shape of greed, enabled by the creationist belief is spread by most religions. Second is the uniqueness of our existence. The religious perspective of our existence acknowledges not only our corporeal body, but also a soul to explain our quest for transcendence to whatever plane the deity is found. One of the main qualities attributed to the soul is its uniqueness. Since millennia, religions have defined this individual relation with our Creator to signify our experience, trying to find meaning in our daily lives using the concept of a special path chosen by the deity for us. Finding purpose was easier to accomplish when humans acted locally, before the advent of the internet and the electronic globalization. However, now we can Google our experience, either good or bad, just to find out hundreds, if not thousands, of individuals have experienced the same, rendering our lives just like one more of the bunch. But more and more, I see an insatiable pursuit in social media to outstand from the crowd by trying to signify our experience and, in consequence, unconsciously feeding the fear to justify our existence. We could argue that this quest for individuality is more a psychological trait of humankind than a religious one, considering atheists suffer from multiple forms of existential dread as well. But am I citing this as part of the religious perspective for now because it fuels the doubts undermining faith? And when the religious solution will be to reinforce faith, as I mentioned earlier, the nature of human mind is one of constant inquiry, forcing the believer to shut down any critical thinking. This confrontation between our desire of significance and meaning against the unresponsiveness of the universe regarding the purpose of our existence is addressed by French philosopher Albert Camus in his book The Myth of Sisyphus, and regards the divorce of these two ideals as absurd. Camus elaborates that the realization of this absurdity leaves the individual with only three outcomes. First, self-termination as an easy way out when considering a life devoid of meaning is not worth living. Second, leap of faith, which is an escape of rationality, as I mentioned, and which Camus considered a philosophical suicide. And finally, recognition, which in Camus' terms means embrace the absurd condition and acknowledge that the universe is fundamentally devoid of absolutes. Then we could be truly free as individuals by creating our own meaning and purpose. If we follow the train of thought of recognition and embrace the accidentality in the creation of the universe and in the inception of life, by understanding the infinite odds we had in this cosmic billiard to ever come to existence, it can help us appreciate the precious gift we had to wait 13.7 billion years to receive. Considering life like this gift we received by chance, it can psychologically help us to accept our existence with humility, with detachment instead of entitlement, by understanding its transient nature, which sadly we only become aware near the end of the journey. By recognizing that our biological uniqueness as human beings rely only on the limited number of combinations and mutations that our cells and genes can achieve, we can embrace the fact that our individuality doesn't depend on the singularity of our experience or any other extrinsic factors, but rather on the happiness of continuing our individual search for significance despite acknowledging the absurdity of this life. I consider myself an agnostic because the knowledge accrued by humanity up until this point fails to provide answers to the most coveted questions. And my experiences have provided me evidence that there are unexplainable things still hiding behind the veil of incredulity. However, I think humanity will benefit of collectively start believing that our existence in this universe is a product of chance, and hence we start acting with more humility and accountability for the gift we receive, even if we didn't deserve it. One day, I would like to behold at the flourishing of humankind and be able to think, what a beautiful accident we have become. But what do you think? Are we here because of divine intervention or just the product of an accident? Please let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please share and subscribe to my channel. You can also visit my blog where you will find more articles addressing similar topics. Or if you enjoy thought-provoking literature, you might like my dark fantasy novel series as well. Links are in the description below. Thank you again, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.